Okay, let's talk about virtual memory management. We have had a discussion about memory management in general. We have seen that the memory allocation is done using two different approaches: contiguous memory allocation and non-contiguous memory allocation. And we found that the contiguous memory allocation approach has got problems like internal fragmentation and external fragmentation. So that's why we went for non-contiguous memory allocation, where the wastage of memory is less compared to contiguous memory allocation. And we discussed about paging and segmentation, and also the hardware support that operating system gets to realize paging and segmentation approaches. In this module, we are going to study about another very important topic, that is virtual memory management. Let's give you the introduction to virtual memory. What is virtual memory? Now you know that if you take any program, the program has to have space in the memory for its sorry. So every program has to have space for, like I said in the previous class, for code, data, stack, and heap. So that's what I have shown here. Let's say this is program 1, this is program 2. When it is loaded into the memory and starts running, we call them as processes. Okay, now if you see, when they're put onto the memory, as discussed in the previous class, they could be put into the memory in out of order fashion. That is, every program is divided into smaller chunks, which could be called as a page or segment. Let's say we are making use of paging approach to allocate the memory. Then each of these programs or processes are divided into number of pages, and these pages are randomly put into the main memory. So but if you give that view of the memory to the programmer, let me rub this. Yeah, if you give that view to the programmer, I'm sorry, no, it looks really complex or very messy for the programmer. Actually, in the main memory, you can have many processes running concurrently. Let's say process A, which could be your browser; process B, which could be your word processing application, or let's say PowerPoint presentation application, etc., etc. C, and all of these are divided into pages and randomly put in the main memory. So this view of main memory is really complex, and it is very difficult to exactly find the physical addresses of the instructions or data of these processes when stored in the main memory. So what a programmer would like to see a process as a program as a process having addresses like this, starting from 0 to max. The first byte is stored at address 0, the second byte is stored at 1, the third byte is stored at 2, 3, and so on. This is what a program would wish to look a process like, or a program like. But actually, when the CPU generates this address for a process, now this address is translated into a physical address, actual physical address, or you can also call it as absolute address of the main memory, to fetch the byte of data or instruction which CPU is expecting. Okay, so whether it could be your process P1 or process P2, every process wishes to see the process like that, or every user programmer wishes to see the process like this. Every process starts at address 0 and ends at some address, some maximum address. but you know you cannot, let's say 5000 is a valid address in P1 and 5000 could be a valid address in P2 as well, but the 5000 of P1 should not collide with the 5000 of process P2. Okay, so what is the view that a programmer is getting, the user is getting, is not the actual view of the main memory. So you can call this as virtual memory or logical address space of the process. Okay, so we will understand this in detail as we go further. Let me clear this and take this diagram and explain you if you see here. Now if you see the logical address space of the process, you will see consecutive pages. Process is divided into consecutive pages, and you might think that the first address of the first location of page 0 is 0, and then the address of the last location of page V in this case is max. But this is not actually the addresses of these locations. Therefore this view is the virtual view, or it can be called as virtual memory. So what I am trying to say here is, now if you have a program P and the programmer should assume that he should not be bothered about how this program is going to be divided into multiple pieces or multiple chunks, and where these chunks are going to be stored in the main memory. So you should not be bothered about all those things. All he has to bother about is writing the logic properly to solve the given issue. Okay, now what I was trying to tell you here is, see, the size of the main memory should not restrict the size of the program P. For example, let us say the size of the main memory is 40 KB. Okay, and if it restricts the size of the program, if this is the only program that comes into the main memory and runs the entire let us assume that the size of this program is 50 KB, then this program cannot be brought into this memory at all, and the user feels that I cannot write a program which exceeds the size of the main memory. So it is not the case, because most of the time we do not have to bring the whole program into the main memory. So we for example, if you have written some code to handle the exceptions, and these exceptions are seldom, and sometimes these routines are not at all executed, so therefore you don't have to bring such a code into the main memory when the program P is executing. So therefore the program P is divided into multiple pieces called pages and kept in the hard disk, and only few of those pages are brought into the main memory, and there is going to be a memory map logic that maps the logical address generated by the CPU. This can also be called as virtual address generated by the CPU to the physical address of the main memory, physical memory. Okay, this is what is the concept of virtual memory. So you need not worry about the size of your program. Your size of your program can exceed the size of the physical memory, and operating system will keep multiple processors or multiple programs in the main memory and run them concurrently in order to give better performance or better throughput. So this is what we have learned in our previous discussions. Now we will take this discussion forward and see actually how virtual memory is implemented.